Okay, our next talk is entitled Movies by Radio. Let's have a big hand for Suzanne Fischer.
I'm Suzanne Fischer. I'm the Curator of Technology at the Henry Ford, and I'm going to talk to you about mechanical television, also known as moving pictures by radio. This guy up here is Charles Francis Jenkins, who in 1925 became the first person in America to send a television program. Mechanical television came sort of from film and from wireless telegraphy. So if you can send sound or Morse code over the radio, why can't you send pictures? And Jenkins called this radio vision, and the receivers were radio visors. Mechanical television is based on one piece of technology, a spinning disc called a Nipkow disc that has a spiral of holes in it. So at one end, you would, the image would be scanned by the spinning disc, and at the other end, you would receive it by a disc that was synchronized. This guy, John Logie Baird, is also credited with inventing mechanical television. He was a Scotsman, and he got the BBC to start a mechanical television station before World War II. But let's go back to Jenkins, who I'm a fan of. Born in Dayton, he got interested in film before he was interested in television, really in moving pictures. He invented a projector called the Jenkins Phantoscope, which he always claimed was stolen from him by Thomas Edison. It became the Edison Vitascope. So this is a piece of his letterhead from when he was working on that. So I'm particularly interested in Jenkins because we have a collection of Jenkins materials at the Henry Ford Museum that were donated to us by his widow after he died in the 40s. This is our old communications exhibit. The stuff is no longer on exhibit, unfortunately. So Jenkins sold television receivers as kits and as completed receivers. If you wanted to have television, you had to produce programming as well as having a station and a transmitter. So this is a kit, mechanical television that was put together and it's in our collections. You can see the Nipkow disc is basically a piece of cardboard. In the back, you would have a light source and see it on the other side. A problem with Nipkow discs is that if you want a bigger picture than 48 lines, they have to be really big. So Jenkins invented this quartz spinning drum that could help make a bigger picture without a huge piece of machinery. So we have this quartz standing drum and the vacuum tube associated with it at the museum, which is pretty exciting. So he developed some other kinds of television receivers. In a second, you'll see advertisements. Jenkins was based in DC, but he produced things through some suppliers in the New York area. This kit, the most expensive thing on this list would cost about $2,000 today. So these were expensive. There weren't that many of them. If you were a broadcaster, you would know exactly how many sets were in your city and where they were, who you were broadcasting to. Another thing that Jenkins invented was a different kind of receiver, this prismatic disc receiver. So what could you see on mechanical television in the 20s and 30s? Well, you couldn't see that much. You couldn't see it for that long, unfortunately. These are 1928 when Jenkins wrote a paper. He is sort of in the middle there, W3XK, and he showed pictures on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. 15 pictures a second. And for a while he showed only silhouettes because he was sort of fighting with the FCC, or the proto-FCC over bandwidth. So he showed silhouettes, not moving pictures. And here's another one. Now, Jenkins, his company was eventually sold to DeForest, and DeForest was sold to RCA. So the electronic television revolution sort of swept him up. He was doing it at the wrong time, is what happened. It was a great idea. It worked well. People are still working on building mechanical television. This is the Narrow Bandwidth Television Association in England. They're partisans of John Logie Baird. So they're on the other side. But this is a mechanical television that was shown at a DIY festival in Santa Fe last year. So there are people still building these things. Unfortunately, the digital television transition is sort of a problem because before, you can see all these YouTube videos of people people watching Seinfeld on mechanical televisions. Now it's back to DIY. If you want to watch something on the TV, you have to do it yourself. And thanks to these people, including Tom Genova, who's in the audience, who runs the site, tvhistory.tv. Thank you.